6:50, time for the morning sprint.
The Bucks coming off a big win overnight. They started off Game 3 in Atlanta with a 15-point deficit. As usual, Chris Middleton and Giannis Antetokounmpo were the team's top scorers, finishing the game 113-102. The win puts them up 2-1 in the best-of-7 conference finals. The two teams will play Game 4 tomorrow night in Atlanta. And breaking news this morning, police are investigating an attempted homicide. Police responded to shots fired at 2 a.m. in the 200 block of West Gilman Street near the east side of campus. Officials say city cameras caught two suspect cars drive down the block. Soon after, a 24-year-old arrived at the hospital with a gunshot wound to his stomach. Police say the injury is not life-threatening. The investigation is ongoing. You're asked to call Madison Area Crime Stoppers if you have any information.
Johnson & Johnson out of the opioid business. The drug maker is going to pay $230 million under a settlement with the state of New York over J&J's role in the opioid crisis. The agreement bans the company from promoting the highly addictive painkillers through, though Johnson & Johnson had discontinued the business in 2020. The settlement follows a string of litigation against J&J and other drug makers over their roles in the nation's opioid epidemic.
The president of Japan's Olympic Committee says it's impossible to avoid any COVID-19 cases among arriving athletes. He made the remarks a week after members of the Ugandan Olympic delegation tested positive when they arrived in Tokyo. Still, the president says he believes a safe and secure games are still possible. 6 women are now headed to the Olympics with USA's gymnastics team after weekend trials. After 2 days of trials, Simone Biles clinched her spot on the Tokyo-bound team. She's joined by Minnesotan Suni Lee for her Olympic debut. Yesterday, Suni finished ahead of Biles in the all-around score. It's the first time anyone has scored higher than Biles in all-around since 2013.
4-time gold medalist Serena Williams has announced she will not play tennis at the Tokyo Olympics. She has 1 singles gold, 3 more gold medals in doubles with her sister Venus. She is not given a reason why she's not going to play.
A bipartisan group of senators is asking the CDC and TSA for more answers about masking during public transportation. Senators like Amy Klobuchar and Susan Collins want to know when new guidelines for planes and buses will be available. They're also looking for updates on how COVID-19 transmits for travelers who are fully vaccinated.
The president says more information on those Middle East airstrikes will be available this morning. Last night, he ordered airstrikes against Iranian-backed militia groups in the Iraq-Syria border region. The sites were targeted because they were suspected of using drones to attack American forces in the region. The strikes hit operational and weapons storage facilities at 2 locations in Syria and 1 in Iraq.
Steve Stricker is now a 3-time major champion. The Edgerton native finished on top this weekend at the Bridgestone Seniors Players Championship in Ohio. Madison native Jerry Kelly finished 6 shots back in second.
U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken visited the Vatican this morning. He met with the Pope and Vatican officials. He stopped in Rome to attend a meeting concerning Islamic State groups before headed south to meet with 20 other foreign ministers during his European trip. He's met with officials in Germany, France, and Italy.
Organizers from around Wisconsin will rally at the state capitol this afternoon. They're asking lawmakers for a path to citizenship for undocumented immigrants. A group of protesters will finish their 9-day, 90-mile walk from Milwaukee to Madison on the Capitol steps.
Trump Organization lawyers are expected to meet with Manhattan DA prosecutors today. It's in an effort to talk them out of pursuing criminal charges. According to sources, the in-person meeting follows a virtual conference last week about the district attorney's pending criminal charges. New York prosecutors told Trump lawyers the criminal charges could be filed against the organization as early as this week.
This morning, Pope Francis is sending a letter out to priests across the world. He's encouraging the church to work with the LGBTQ community. The Pope has previously said, "Who am I to judge?" in the context of gay Catholics. On Tuesday, though, it was revealed the Vatican expressed concerns to Italy Parliament regarding increased LGBTQ protections.
Australian officials are tightening coronavirus restrictions. New cases are emerging across the country. Queensland and Western Australia are among the latest regions to impose some stronger rules. Meanwhile, only 39% of Australia's population received 1 dose of the vaccine. 5% are fully vaccinated.
Live theater is back in New York City. Bruce Springsteen reopened Broadway over the weekend. The theater was at full capacity, but everyone in the audience did have to show proof of vaccination. While fans cheered on the theater for its return, a group of anti-vaccination protesters rallied against the proof of vaccine policy.
Media company BUZZFEED has announced plans to go public with an estimated valuation of $1.5 billion. The digital media company made that announcement earlier this week. BUZZFEED will also acquire media company Complex Networks as part of the move. They're merging with 890 Fifth Avenue Partners, a publicly traded special purpose acquisition company.
And a look now at some of our current conditions outside. Midwestern temperatures overall looking pretty decent, actually very close to average. Right here locally, we're at 68 degrees in Madison. We started out in the lower to mid 60s. Now starting to see those temperatures rise, but it still feels pretty decent outside. Dew points in the 60s as well, so it is going to be on the muggier side of things overall. But we're not seeing much fog actually early this morning. Our Doppler track is also showing just some lighter showers out around Platteville, and right towards Monroe they also saw some lighter showers, especially west of Monroe. But most of our shower action is going to hold off until the afternoon and evening hours for today with a high of 77 degrees.